Okay, so now let's discuss CloudTrail and some solution architectures that can be interesting with CloudTrail. So the first one is around how to deliver files from CloudTrail to S3 and the type of use case that it opens up. So we have CloudTrail, and you can set up a dump of the CloudTrail files into S3 every 5 minutes. And so this encryption can be enabled, and by default it's going to be SSE S3 encryption, but you can set up manually SSE KMS for your CloudTrail files. You could set up a lifecycle policy on your S3 buckets to deliver files to the Glacier tier in case they're archives and you don't need to have them around for a long time, or you just want to archive them and make sure that if you need to access them, you can wait maybe for 6-12 hours before you analyze these. When a file is delivered into S3, you can leverage S3 events to notify either an SQS queue, an SNS topic, or a Lambda function. But you can also have CloudTrail deliver notifications directly into SNS, and from SNS, you could invoke SQS or Lambda. So this gives you a bunch of different options you can have for this architecture. As you can see, there's not one way of doing things, but getting into thinking how these things fit together is the key to passing the Solutions Architect Professional exam. Okay? On top of it, you need to think about all the enhancements we can have from S3. So we can enable versioning to prevent accidental deletes. We can have MFA for delete protection. We can have S3 lifecycle policy, as I said, to move it to S3 IA or Glacier. You can have S3 object lock to make sure that the S3 buckets objects are never deleted and will never be modified as well. So this could be very powerful. You can enable encryption such as SSE S3 or SSE KMS. And you can even have a feature to perform CloudTrail log file integrity validation that will verify that the files delivered in S3 are exactly as they should be and they have not been tampered with, they have not been modified. So this is getting interesting, right? Because from CloudTrail and combining this with S3 and all these notifications, we can have a bunch of use cases being opened up. So this is hopefully opening some stuff for you and helping you understand the kind of architectures we can be looking at going into the exam. Okay, another architecture now. CloudTrail can be multi-account and multi-region. So say we have two accounts, account A and account B, and we have a security account that we want to send the logs to. So we'll have CloudTrail in the first account and CloudTrail in the second account. And we'll set up an S3 bucket that will be holding the logs of all these CloudTrails. The thing is, CloudTrail needs to be delivering these log files into the S3 bucket of the security account. And so the only way for us to do it is to define an S3 bucket policy, and that S3 bucket policy should allow CloudTrail to deliver files into S3. And the cool thing we have here is that the S3 bucket policy, first of all, is necessary and very simple to maintain for cross-account delivery. The second is that if account A needs to access, the logs for the CloudTrail bucket, we can create, for example, a cross-account role and assume the role in the security account, or we can edit the bucket policy to allow reads from the account A. So it's really up to you to see the kind of architecture again you need, but it's really interesting here to see that there's different options to provide the reads access to S3 based on the use case. And on top of it, we have demonstrated a good way to have a security account in the middle to keep all these CloudTrail logs into a secure place. And maybe the security account has a much tighter security for user management and so on. And so we have the certainty that these logs are safe and secure for a long time. Okay, so yet another solution architecture. Say you want to create alerts when certain API calls are done. So you have CloudTrail, and you can stream all these events into CloudWatch logs. And then from CloudWatch logs, you can open up a bunch of use cases. And one of the things you can do with CloudWatch logs is to create a metrics filter and then a CloudWatch alarm on top of it. And this filter will basically filter for the API call you're looking for. Maybe you're looking for a terminate instance, so you create a metric filter for terminate instance. And then if that filter passes through, then you would have the metric incremented by 1, and maybe your CloudWatch alarm is set up to be triggered whenever the metric filter is equals to 1. In which case, the CloudWatch alarm can deliver to an SNS topic, and from that SNS topic, you could have a Lambda function, you could have an SQS queue, you could have multiple things. But this would be a way to create alerts for API calls. Now, these log metric filters can be detecting also a high level of API happening. It doesn't have to be a specific API. So you can be counting the occurrences of a specific API, for example, terminate institute instances, or count the API calls per user, or detect a high level of denied API calls. Maybe someone is trying to breach into your security. So it's not just for one API call, you can be creating a metrics filter and the CloudWatch alarms is for counting them or detecting high level of unusual activity. Okay, so there is another feature of CloudTrail that you know about, which is the organizational trail. So if you have AWS organizations, for example, you have a management account and then you have several OUs with other member accounts, then it is possible for you to set up a organizational trail directly in the management accounts. Okay, so it's very important for you to remember this trail is created in the management accounts and not in the children accounts, in the member accounts of your organization. Now, what's happening is that once you create this trail, then any events into all the member accounts will be monitored by this trail directly, which is very easy to understand. So that means that any accounts in the prod OU or the dev OU will be monitored. And from there, well, you can send the information from your trail into an S3 bucket that will be again in your management accounts. And this S3 bucket will contain a certain kind of organization, where, as you see, the suffix of the S3 prefix represents the account number that is being monitored by CloudTrail. So how can you react to events the fastest in CloudTrail? Well, first of all, any event in CloudTrail may take 15 minutes to be delivered, so this is something to know. But anyways, so we have Event Bridge, and this is cool because this can be triggered for any API call done within CloudTrail, which gives you by far the fastest, most reactive way to react to any events in CloudTrail. So you can have a deep integration between them. Then we have CloudTrail delivery in CloudWatch logs. So that means that all the events are going to be streamed in the CloudWatch logs, and you can create a metric filter to analyze occurrences and detect anomalies. So this is when you want to see if someone is trying too fast to log into your account. That kind of things that could be a trigger for maybe an attack. And you have CloudTrail delivery in Amazon S3. So there, the events are delivered every 5 minutes, and you have also the possibility to guarantee that the logs in S3 are having integrity with a hashing feature. You can deliver them cross-account. It's good for long-term storage and analytics. So based on the use case you have, if you want to react to an event right away, it's Event Bridge. If you want to count events, it's going to be CloudWatch logs. And if you want to do analytics on all of them at scale, it's going to be Amazon S3. So that's it for this lecture. I hope you liked it, and I will see you in the next lecture.